streets to the trail at Pyles Camp, next on Evening Magazine. They come in as boys, but they leave as men. Tonight, a camp in California that helps turn gang members' lives around.
These guys got it pretty rough. I mean, they tell me they see shootings all the time. They do shootings, they kill people.
Good evening, I'm Jennifer Montana.
And I'm Richard Hart. We've all been reading a lot lately about a certain Bay Area boys camp for youthful offenders that hasn't had much success with the newest gang member, the drug dealer.
But here's a story of a successful camp, Pyles Boys Camp.
I want to thank Rocky, thank Bravo, I want to thank God for creating Mr. Pyles and putting that dream in Mr. Pyles, because this camp at this point in my life is everything that I have.
This is a familiar scene at Pyles Boys Camp in Sequoia National Forest. Pyles Camp takes on kids who know how to survive on the streets of L.A. The camp takes them away from the gangs, the drugs, and their friends, and tries to show them a better way of life. For the most part, these boys will go home to a brighter future. For this group, the experience begins at dawn in gang-ridden East L.A. All of these boys have been recruited to Pyles Camp for a reason. Some of them live in crack houses or have joined gangs. Most of them come from poor, fatherless families. One has just attempted suicide. When this 7-hour bus ride ends, these 70 boys will feel light years away from the only world they know. None of these kids is a felon, but they are all at crucial turning points in their lives. The Pyles Camp counselors can relate, because not long ago, they were campers here too.
Be firm, and we can back off later on towards the session. He's an outstanding counselor, and this is Jaguar. Let's give Jaguar a hand.
Slam, bro. Nice to meet you, Joshua. Stand over there, please. Like last session, we had a kid who he beat his mother, you know. He stabbed his grandmother, you know. And they're really tough kids, you know. So you have to be tough with them, you know. You have to act the way they act down in the city, you know. You have to hold them tight. And then as the session progresses, you have to kind of like loosen up a little, you know. It's like you have this real tight screw, then you have to loosen little by little.
Jaguar is the camp name for this 18-year-old counselor. He comes from a family with an abusive father and a neighborhood where gang-related killings are a fact of life. For the next 2 weeks, his job is twofold. He will eventually offer love and understanding to the kids in his group. But first comes the tough talk and military-like discipline, beginning with a 6-mile hike into camp.
You guys ask me, when I'm talking, you guys listen to me.
You gotta fold it all the way down. You see how much space you got down here? Yeah, that ain't gonna cut it.
There's a bell there, the flagpole. We meet there every time before a meal.
Hats off, hands clean, palms up.
As far as the kids are concerned, this kind of discipline is about as welcome as boot camp. Joshua, a gang member in Jaguar's group, learned the hard way that he who snickers gets chosen for the next prayer.
Thank the Lord for the food we're about to receive and the fellow peoples in the cities, and watch over us for this 2 weeks. Amen.
Amen.
Pyles Camp was founded 40 years ago by oil company executive R.M. Pyles. He never forgot what being a disadvantaged kid was like, so he built Pyles to help kids in similar situations. The boys have gotten tougher through the years, but so has the program.
It's very intense. It's very emotionally draining, and sometimes you just, what am I doing up here? But it's also very rewarding.
As camp director, Paul Leitzel works closely with the counselors and with the oil industry executives who fund the program. Because Paul was a camper himself 20 years ago, he knows how important it is to keep the boys busy.
Right. That's what you always wanted to do, huh, Joshua? Clean toilets, right? You got cramps from what?
Joshua wasn't going to be Jaguar's only problem during his group's 5-day trek through the wilderness. First, there was Jose, who was getting pretty close to wisecracking his way right out of the program.
What do you like best about cleaning toilets?
It smells good, that's what.
And then there was Eric, another gang wannabe who didn't want to be at Pyles.
I noticed Eric on the back of the mess hall sulking, so my first response is to go over and find out what's wrong. As I went over talking to him, I noticed he had the tattoo on his arm that said R.I.P. Bud. Immediately I asked him, who's Bud? And Bud is his half-brother. And his half-brother was killed in a drive-by shooting, a gang-related drive-by shooting.
They ain't gonna kick me from behind. No, he's gonna kick me from the front. Come on.
Every activity at Pyles is designed to build the confidence that it'll take for kids like Eric and Joshua to change their lives in the city.
Tell him if he bite me, man, I'm gonna deck him in his eye. I'm backing up.
Jaguar plans to hike his group 15 miles into the backcountry. This is where the tough guy masks are peeled away. That generally happens during the 5 days when the only thing these kids have are the supplies on their backs and each other.
I know Joshua. I know he's gonna be mainly my big problem in that camp. Cause right now he's telling me he doesn't want to go. First of all, I'm gonna try to become his buddy. Cause so far, he sees me as an authority figure.
Jose's a good guy, but he's just gonna test you. And he likes to have fun. But let's put him in a position where he can't have fun and give him responsibility.
Maybe like when we're not camp, we'll have like a real serious campfire and see how they do there. So they open up to me.
The strategy for Jaguar's 5-day out camp was set in motion right away. On day 1, the group hiked around 12 miles. It's a workout, but it's also an exercise in teamwork. After putting a few dozen miles on his Nikes, even Joshua started to look at things a little differently.
When I got there, it was hard. It was hard walking up there, walking down. It was a steep way down, and it was hard. But when I got there, I realized that it wasn't that hard.
The daily treks help bring the group closer together, but it's nothing compared with the magic that is generated by a campfire at the end of the day.
I'm glad I stopped what I did and stuff, because if I didn't, I wouldn't be here if I was just still doing drugs. Who knows what I'd be? I'd be on the corner selling it or something,
Just like Jose said, talk about he used to do drugs. I used to sell it. It was like I used to sell water. They call it water. I used to sell water. Yeah. And I thought I was a big guy. And ever since I came to Pyles, I realized that I'm not a big shot. I realized that I'm just an ordinary person like everybody else.
I'll be back, guys. Don't stop looking out because I'm gone. Nobody in my family's ever made it to school. I'm probably the last one. My sister got pregnant, so she couldn't finish school. My brother got kicked out of school. My sister, my little bit older sister, she might drop out. I'm the last one.
It was different. I'd never seen these guys cry, What got them like that, I guess, was what they see goes back at home, and they know how it has an effect on them, and they don't want to be like that. I know none of these guys want to be the way they are. But when they go home, they can't change it because that's the way their parents always been.
I love them for what they are.
By the dawning of the last day at camp, the activities, the out camps, and all the work is over. Because it's time to face off in the official Pyles Camp Olympics.
I learned not to give up, and I learned how to trust in myself and trust in people.
It kind of tears you up, to see some kids that you really get attached to, and then they just leave, you know. Sometimes you don't see them again, sometimes you don't hear from them, but sometimes you do, you know, and that really makes you feel good.
It's like life, sort of. You got to clean up around here, and then you can have your fun, you know. And it's just like you got to work, and then you can have your fun.
You know, they talk about Bush's 1,000 points of light. Well, I think we're one of them. There could be 100 Pyles Boys camps.
It's alright here. Say, like they say, you come in as a fool and go out as a man.
If there's any question as to whether R.M. Pyles Boys Camp really works, the answer can be found at the last campfire.
Because love made you, that's why I love you.
Some of you didn't realize what Pyles Boys Camp was all about until the last couple days. You started grabbing hold of that. I'm glad you did, too.
I'm just real happy I came up here. 'Cause at first, I really didn't want to. But now I know that there's wonderful things out in the world that we can experience. And if all of us just give it a chance, things will go better for us in our life. I want to tell Dodger that I love him because he treats me the way he treats me, like if he was my big brother I never had.
I'm gonna leave you guys. I wanna tell you, you know that whenever you wanna come and visit me, I'm just gonna be open for you.
All is well, safely rest. God is on.
I met one group of them, and these are the kids from R.M. Pyles Boys Camp. And they come out here away from it all to learn how to hike and fish and pitch a tent, and they learn how to respect themselves and respect the land.
We, got the award for the Points of Light, and I think we deserve it. We do a lot of work with the boys from the inner city, and it's been a long time coming. I think really proud.